So Big Ten tournament quarterfinals, second to last game that we're going to handicap here. Purdue against Michigan, the third-seeded Wolverines against the sixth-seeded Purdue Boilermakers. Yet Purdue is a 2.5 3-point favorite in Indianapolis. The winner taking on the victor of Maryland, Illinois. Michigan, 14-6 straight up in Big Ten play with a negative point differential, nearly 78 plus to be exact. Percent of their conference wins came by 2 possessions or fewer. Yet Purdue advanced past USC in the second round. I touched on that game or alluded to it briefly a couple minutes ago. Failed to cover as 10.5-point favorites with USC coming off of the double overtime win against Rutgers on Wednesday night. And Purdue benefited from a ton, and I mean a ton, of soft whistles in the second half. You go back to the regular season meetings between these two teams. Purdue blitzed Michigan in a big home spot at Mackey in late January. Michigan overcame a second half deficit against Purdue in their second matchup. Didn't cover in the rematch, though. Vlad Golden and this Wolverines front court, Danny Wolf included, shot over 66% at the rim and in the paint combined in the second matchup. And from January 1st onward, Purdue had the third worst 2-point defense nationally. That is not a fluke. Purdue's interior defense has really struggled of late. So even though the analytics, or at least intuition-wise, you would say, well, maybe Michigan shouldn't be favored. The market is dead on here. As you said, it's hard not to trust the market at this point of the season. But Purdue's interior defense can be exploited in a big way by Vlad Golden if he gets going early. Conversely, Michigan 336th in turnover percentage this season, and Purdue got the best of them in that department in the first matchup. So how do you handicap this one, Justin? Again, as you could hear, I go back and forth here. If Golden gets going early, Michigan could very well win this game outright as a short home, or not home dog, but as a short underdog. But if the turnovers pile up, how do you trust Michigan?
You don't. Shot quality loves Purdue. We've talked about this before. They are a top 5 team in their shot quality profile this season. Currently, absolutely going to blitz you on offense for how we see it. Top 5 in terms of expected efficiency, both from 3 and at the rim. Develop spacing, pass well, which go hand in hand, of course, but also efficient in transition. So, the worry is, of course, they cannot really defend the rim very well, but the hope is that they don't let you get there. They only see 34% of opposing shots. The rim ranks 307th in the country. That was at 33%, rated 14th in the conference. And you want that number to be high. You want to see as little as possible because they don't defend it well. It's the big blemish on their card, right? Their shot type analysis is all green, offensive and defensive, but the issues they have are defending transition, defending cuts, defending the rim, all kind of related, right? Because guess what? In transition, you get to the rim, cutting, you get to the rim, they can't defend the rim. So keep Michigan away from the rim. Oh, easy, but except wait, they have 2 7-foot guys who can pass, move the ball. Maybe Danny Wolf can't really pass. He can both pass and he cannot pass. It's a very high risk, high reward type of venture for Michigan. If he has a good game, if he doesn't turn the ball over, it's going to be cake, right? That's just the way they work. They have a very efficient offense. They can absolutely take you down in the pick and roll ball screen. They run 14% of their shots through it. They catch and shoot well. They finish at the rim efficiently. The only issue is honestly that they oftentimes end up, maybe settling for not open threes. That's like the only thing is they'll take a contested 3 maybe too often. But both these teams very efficient. Could see that total at 147 going over pretty easily if these teams are just running offense. But they are good defensively too. It's going to be tough. The pace clash is interesting, right? So we'll see who kind of gets their way. I tend to think Michigan's more likely to get slowed down than Purdue is to get sped up. And so in that sense, I think that leans more towards Purdue. You want the team that inflicts their will on the pace. So I'll lay the points with Purdue here.
Yeah, it's a really tough handicap because if Purdue is able to exploit Michigan's drop coverage, as good as Golden is inside, Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, we saw it in the first matchup. They were on fire from 3. And you've touched on it, why shot quality is high on Purdue overall this season. they underperformed a little bit in conference play, at least first half to the middle tier of the Big Ten schedule for the Boilermakers. And then they end the season number 1 in 3-point efficiency in league play.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough one. This is one of the games I'm most excited to watch, is what I'll say. I'll leave it at that.